If you have heard of Dr. Joe Dispenza, you probably know of how many people he has transformed through his books and advice. Dr. Joe Dispenza is a popular neuroscientist, researcher, and a bestseller author who clearly explains how the heart, mind, and body work. After extensive analysis of Dr. Joe's work, today I simplify the formula that has helped so many people achieve enormous levels of success and wealth. Welcome to the Money and Finance channel. Learn how to create enormous levels of wealth by clicking the subscribe button. A person who's living in lack is usually unworthy, insecure in their past, or frustrated, impatient, and resentful. That is because nothing is changing out there and it's taking too long. So then, if you teach them, let's do something else. Let's write down the feelings of how you would feel if that future happened now, and you're going to have to feel that feeling before it occurs. What would an abundant person feel like? Write the qualities down. For example, lots of freedom, excited, in love with life, grateful to be alive, abundant. Now let's practice those feelings. When you're feeling those other emotions like resentment, impatience, and frustration, you're stepping on the gas pedal, who's turning on the sympathetic nervous system, and you're stepping on the brake at the same time. Which means you're angry or frustrated, but the fight or flight nervous system says run, fight, or hide. Your neck is then pulsating because the heart is beating against the closed system. That is because you're not using it in an adaptive way. The heart then starts firing out of order. It starts firing incoherently, and incoherent waves cancel each other out. It's called destructive interference, and then we can't get in touch with the feelings of our future. Because in survival, what those hormones of stress, all those emotions in survival say, it's not a time to create. It's a time to run, fight, or hide. So we are going to lay down the very thing we used our whole life to get what we want. The habit of doing it that way for something greater to occur. Let's learn the formula of how to create. You will have to feel those emotions before the experience occurred, and if you understood that you could dissociate all of your attention from this three-dimensional reality, and have no attention on anything known, and understand that it's the field that creates matter and not matter that emits the field. If you could get to that place and change your energy with a clear intention and an elevated emotion, your heart starts beating in this beautiful rhythm like a drum. When that occurs, the next thing that happens, the heart informs the brain, it's safe to create now. A person then relaxes into the present moment. The energy of the heart actually informs the brain to move into this beautiful, elegant states of brain wave patterns, coherent alpha, and that's saying, what's the next dream? What's the next opportunity you want to experience as a state of creation? You now have a coherent brain that's a directive and a signal, and you have this coherent heart, and that's what draws it to us. You combine those two, and if there's a vibrational match between your energy and that potential in the quantum field, and you're feeling abundant, and whatever your brain associates with being abundant, that's your call. That's what the creative process is. The creative center of the brain, the frontal lobe, actually says, what would it be like to be creative or abundant? Then let's go and read a few books on people who actually became abundant and realized it wasn't a glorious process. They failed miserably, they got betrayed, they learned a lot of lessons, but they persevered. Now, what are the qualities of that person that you could embody? This is because it's not about wealth. It's who we become. It's about the becoming process. How would an abundant person think? Write it down and fire and wire those thoughts in your brain and install the hardware. Keep doing it with attention and intention. It becomes the new voice in your head. It becomes a software program. Then say, okay, how am I going to be in my life today? How would an abundant person behave? And before you reach for your cell phone and start going through your social media, close your eyes and rehearse in your mind how that person would walk, how they would breathe, how they would smile, how they will greet people, how would they be on traffic, or how they would be at dinner. The act of closing your eyes and mentally rehearsing the acting. If you're truly present, the brain does not know the difference between the real-life experience in which you're imagining. In fact, just a little bit of time, you start to install the neurological hardware to look like you already did it. Now the body is no longer a record of the past. It's prying for the future. Keep doing it and rehearsing it. No different than playing an instrument, no different than learning how to dance or play a sport. The rehearsal process changes the brain to look like you've already done it. You've already experienced it. Now the essential part of that is that the hardware is already in place. All you have to do then is to step into the footprint. Keep doing it and it becomes a software program. You start acting like an abundant person. Everything changes, your energy changes, your mood changes, the way you walk, the way you breathe, your posture changes. You're now out of the known. Now all you have to do is condition the body emotionally into the future. The longer you're conscious of that energy, the more you draw that future to you. So then you have turned the battleship around and the heart becomes like an amplifier, and that sends that signal out, and that frequency can carry the thought of your abundance. Suffering and lack cannot carry the thought of your abundance. It's a different frequency. We feel different feelings like suffering, we think different thoughts. So people can say I'm abundant up all they want, but that feeling is never making it to the body since it's stopping at the brains. This is because the body is saying I'm miserable, I'm unhappy, I'm in lack, and so the affirmation doesn't work. So if you practice this and you actually understood it, just like learning how to play handball or learning how to hit a golf ball, if you practice the form you get really good at it. If you're doing it properly, then what would be the outcome to the experiment of being abundant? It would be that you would have to feel that feeling. It's so good at doing it with your eyes closed. Now you got to do it with your eyes open. This is because if you're feeling the feelings of the emotions of your future, you're no longer looking for them. Your body is so objective that it's believing it's living in that reality where you are abundant. As long as you feel that emotion, you're not separate from it any longer. You're no longer looking for it to occur. If you're feeling abundant, why would you look? So then our job then is to be able to maintain that modified state of mind and body. Keep tuning in that potential, and here come the synchronicities. That's feedback from the environment. The universe is saying, whatever you're doing, all of a sudden, we're starting to create. So it's so important for people to remember that they are the creators of their lives instead of the victim of their lives. The victim is saying I am feeling this way, or I don't have any money is causing me to feel this way. What that really means is I'm using my lack to reaffirm my dependency, my addiction, my conditioning. That's my relationship with money. I put my attention on money because I don't have it. So the relationship with money is built on lack, and so when they don't have it, they feel bad, and what they are really saying is, my outer environment, my reality is actually controlling the way I feel and the way I think. This subconscious program victimization is saying that we're allowing our environment to influence the way we feel and think. And the stronger the emotion we have to our lack, the more we put our attention on the fact that we don't have it. The person has forgotten that they are the creators of reality, because what they're creating is lack, and they're creating more of it, and they try harder and they force it, and they get exhausted and tired and broken down. This is the Money and Finance channel. Make sure to subscribe and hit the thumbs up. See you in the next video.